Hey there, it's Joe Simonds from Salt Strong, and it's cooler time. Good news and bad news. First, the bad news. There is not a perfect cooler. There's not a perfect cooler brand out there that I've found yet. The good news is there is a cooler that is probably best for every given scenario, and I'm going to talk about these. I actually have these in order of how often I use these coolers. This is my lineup for 2018. I have more coolers than this, and the other good news for you people that actually like to go buy stuff is I believe that you can never have enough coolers, just like enough polarized sunglasses, enough fishing rods and reels. You can never have enough good coolers. And the reason I think that there needs to be a specific cooler for specifically what you're doing is the same reason you have specific reels and rods going after certain fish. You're not going to use the same kind of rod and reel to go after a small trout or a redfish that you are going for a 150-pound tarpon, or if you're going out fishing for kingfish or wahoo or something like that. So in this video, I'm going to break down my favorite coolers for every given scenario and tell you about the pros and cons of each one. I am not, however, going to do any kind of ice challenge or anything like that, because frankly, it's very rarely that I'm going out for 3 or 4 days and I'm going to need my ice to stick around that long. So let's get into it. Right here is a staple. I have it here because I use this the least amount, all the way to the ones I use the most, but this is something you have to have in your cooler stable. Here's why. One, it's got wheels, so it's great for going across grass or anything else. You might be going across the beach, the dock, the pier, whatever it might be. Number two is it's pretty cheap. I think this thing is like $30 at Walmart or on Amazon right now. Pretty nice considering how much this thing holds. And this is really good too. I take this with me in the times where I'm going to be out maybe on a sandbar. I'm going to have a cooler in the back of my truck, whether it be at a marina or maybe it's at a tailgate or NASCAR event, whatever it might be. I'm not that worried if this thing gets stolen. On the other hand, if this guy gets stolen, I'm going to be pretty ticked off. But this thing, 30 bucks, someone walks away with $30, a couple of my leftover Busch Light cans, I'm not that worried about it. This is a great cooler to have. It's got the handle. You can carry around anything in it, and once again, awesome cooler to have if you know you're going to be in an area where you're not going to like lose sleep if it does get stolen. I don't take this with me all the time, but it's always important to have one of these babies. Heck, you can even take this big boy, load it up here, and boom, you don't have to carry it. So let's get in to the old YETI. Now, I don't really care so much about the brands, and if you know us here at Salt Strong, we do not take sponsorships. We've actually rejected every sponsorship that's come our way because we like to tell you like it is. I do like this YETI cooler because you can stand up on it. Now, there's certainly other brands that have very similar, if not identical, coolers. I had to buy YETI to see what it was all about. It's a great cooler. I love the fact you can stand up on it. This is the kind of cooler we usually keep in our boat. In fact, we have a bigger one for our 23-foot boat that we keep in there all the time. I don't think it's a YETI. I think it was Engel or Igloo. We just went with the cheaper brand, but it's something you're not going to move very often because, man, this thing is heavy. I mean, it's heavy, not even with anything in it, but when you have this thing loaded up with ice and beer or sandwiches, whatever you have, this sucker's heavy. It doesn't have wheels. So you notice on the bottom, it's got no wheels on the thing. And man, it's kind of a pain in the rear to move around. So I don't use this as often, which is why it's over here. I do, however, believe this is a perfect cooler for the boat to keep in there at all times. You can use it as a platform. You can obviously use it to keep your ice for 3 days or longer. And if you are camping or anything, you do need the ice really that long in those rare instances, this kind of hard top cooler is really, really awesome. Now, the other con is that even though this thing is big and bulky, it doesn't hold that much in there. There's actually not that much room for stuff. So I'm not the biggest fan of these things, although for the boat, especially if you have like an offshore boat, you need the big boy of this. Awesome. It is a must-have. It will keep ice super cold or wherever you need cold for a really, really long time. And as I mentioned, it's a platform people can sit on it. It actually does serve a couple different purposes. Now this next one, this is the RTIC. I don't know what size this is, like the 45s. This is the soft cooler. I really, really like this thing. I have it over here because I do use this quite often. You can see one of the bad parts is I use it so often, and because this is a little bit bigger, it does hold a lot. And so I tend to like stuff it up to the very top. And I've gone through a couple of these shoulder straps here. So RTIC, if you're watching this thing, work on your shoulder straps for these bigger versions. Maybe make them a little bit tougher. This is the second one that I've burnt through just from having too much weight here up on my shoulder. But I do love the fact it's got a strap. It's easy to take around. This thing holds a lot, so you can actually put a lot of drinks, sandwiches, ice, etc., whatever you want in there. The only thing I don't like about it is that because it gets so heavy that this handle tends to mess up and kind of fray sometimes. Otherwise, the strap is really secure. Even when I have this thing loaded down, it's pretty heavy. I never have to worry about it like dropping or anything like that. Got great insulation. The ice will stay for a really, really long time in here. I love that fact. I also like the fact it's got a zipper up front. What I keep in there, Salt Strong bottle opener and just a little koozie here. Always keep that in there because I don't believe that I've ever seen a bottle opener on this. Maybe some of the newer versions have it. They have a bunch of little straps and things like that on here. Nice little handles on the side, and of course this handle up here as well, but doesn't have a bottle opener like this one I'm going to talk about in a second. So RTIC, you might want to work on that. Now moving over here, what stands out right away are the rod holders. This is a must-have if you're in to paddleboard fishing, especially like our L2 fish board. This is on there at all given times. You can put 4 rods in here. It still holds a decent amount, and it even has a little sandwich tray. I've taken it out here, but normally you can put a little thing up here if you want to keep anything completely dry. Sometimes I'll even put my wallet and keys and stuff in that little sandwich case. Otherwise, you got, you know, room for six or so drinks, sandwich, orange, apple, whatever you might be into. These have done really well even in salt water. We've got a couple of these coolers here, and Engel's done a great job of keeping these things stainless. And you know, as long as you clean them off, obviously pretty important if you're out in salt water to wash these off really well, actually unbuckle them, really get the water in there. But these actually hold up really well. I've been really pleased overall with this this cooler, and it is strong enough where you can stand up on it. So you can use this if you're on your paddleboard or your kayak. You can actually stand up on this and use it as a platform. Pretty sturdy, awesome cooler. It does come with a strap too, which I love. So you got the handle just like a tackle box handle, and you got this strap on here so you can carry it around. This is, once again, must have if you're into inshore fishing off kayaks and paddleboards, etc. And I have it over here because we do use this all the time. Now finally on to the one here that I'm using the most, at least so far here in 2018. This is by Tourit. It's a fairly new company. I'm into coolers just like I am sunglasses. I have like 20 pairs of polarized glasses right now. Smith, you got my vote this week, but next week it might be Coaster or Maui, etc. Always changing it up, but this is one I like right now, and mostly it's because of the price. My personal opinion is that this and even the YETI version of this, they're all made in the exact same place. Sorry manufacturers, but I'm guessing that's probably true. If not the same manufacturing plant, it's probably on the same block there in China. I mean, they all look and feel exactly the same. I like this because the colors, it stands out. It's a sharp looking cooler. It was priced right, I think it was a little over $100. Depending on the prices for all these, they fluctuate with discounts and stuff like that. A couple things I do like about it, it's a little bit smaller. So you'll notice it's a little bit smaller than this guy. So yes, you're right, you're not gonna be able to put as much in this one, but at the same point, I can take it anywhere. This fits right in the back of the car or a pickup truck. You can put this on your paddleboard or kayak. This one's just a little bit bigger and bulkier, which is why this is my go-to one on every kind of road trip possible. And so far, the strap is holding up really well. It's not ripping like the RTIC, but then again, to their defense, that thing holds a whole lot more than this and gets really heavy. Now the other thing here is they did put a little bottle opener. So here on the side, they put the bottle opener. RTIC, you can learn something from this. Awesome little thing to have. Just like the RTIC, they have a little pouch back here to put things in. Now another thing they did that was unique is they put a little buckle here on top. Nice, so that's not ever gonna come out. It'll sit there. Even as you put it down, it'll always be there for you. Grab it, pick it up. Now, the only thing they didn't do is they have another pouch here instead of a zipper. I personally like the zipper, especially if it's raining. If you have this thing outside, to have something that's gonna be a little bit more waterproof or even water resistant. I do think that that's the only downside on this. The other thing they did unique, it looks like, it's almost like scissors. At first I wasn't really sure about it, but I actually kind of like it now. It's 2 different ways you can grip it versus just one. Thing opens and closes really simple. And all of these are, I mean, they're sealed completely tight, and they do come with little lubricant that you need to put on there every once in a while to make sure that the zippers are going to last a really long time. But haven't had any problem with the zippers. Once again, the only problem has been the handle. And I think with pretty much all these, I got these online. I usually shop at Amazon just because they seem to have the best prices, and I'm a Prime member. These things usually show up a couple days later in the mail, but there's also some great retailers that'll have these on sale as well. The good news is all of these coolers will last a really long time, with maybe the exception of that one that could speed up quite a bit. Although that probably is 2 years old and I still have it and still has not been stolen yet, which is really awesome. And even after dragging this sucker in the beach and through the sand, these wheels still hold up. They're not rusted through or anything. So good news is all these coolers should last a long time. These sturdy ones, I mean, these should last 5, 10 plus years as long as you take care of them, wash them down, especially for fishing in salt water. So this is my cooler lineup for 2018. If you have any questions about these coolers or any coolers you like, let me know down below. And if you have any that you think I left off, like maybe a really super small one or a really monster big one, let me know as well. And finally, let me know how many coolers you have in the comment section down below. Love to hear from you, and let's see who has the most coolers in their lineup.